just gonna start, and we'll just naturally. Who knows? We might get 2 podcasts of
Dude, I
content
know.
out of this.
You're gonna turn it on, and we're just gonna be like, so
That movie that
let's.
came out that one time.
Yeah, dude, I totally remember that. Like,
You know,
it was
I
such a movie.
think the fact that we kind of went like a couple years without just like not a lot of communication. I really talked to anybody, but I think
Yeah.
it's kind of fun.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's like connecting. Obviously, it's literally connecting with an old friend.
Yeah.
So it's like you get as long as you're like in a good standing, you get to sit there and chat and gab about fucking everything under the sun. You'd be like, oh, I remember. It's like I feel like this is how I am with my brothers when we all get together. Like because we get like we'll play like Fortnite. We'll get it all at a party together, and it's like maybe like 3 times out of the year that we do that, and we all get our drink of choice and just go in,
Yep.
which is always really fun. Your drink of choice. I know. I mean, I'm not the biggest drinker, but I have some Jack sitting over somewhere. It's apple Jack
Oh,
alcohol.
I'm over here. The only drink I can get you is a freaking dirty Mountain Dew.
Dirty. Is that what you get?
I mean, that's just what I have.
Oh, I got. Wait, well, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I just have Mountain Dew here, and I got coconut creamer in my fridge.
There you go. Oh, you mean quite so not even alcoholic. You're
No.
talking about one of those what is the Mormon drinks? There's a place, I don't know if you guys have it in Texas, but it's called like what is it? It's called like Swish or something like that.
Swig?
Swig,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, dude, and because everyone like it's now like one of the big popular drink spots out here now. Like I think I've heard more of
Oh
Swig than
my
I have
god.
Dutch Bros recently. And I heard that like, yeah, I go to Utah, there's a Swig, Swig is as popular as like Starbucks is everywhere else, Can't turn a corner without there being a Swig. And like on Sundays or whenever, Mormons have church, it's like you don't go to those places because the lines are insane because that is their replacement for like coffee and it's the replacement for alcohol and stuff like that. That's like their drink that they're allowed to drink, and it's funny to me.
Yeah, I'll go to Dutch Bros before Swig. In Texas, Dutch Bros isn't like Dutch Bros in Arizona, so
Really, I wonder if I'm gonna look it up. I feel like we've looked this up before, but I'm wondering if Dutch Bros started out here.
Oregon.
Dutch Bros. Oh,
My girlfriend and I
really?
talked about this the other day, actually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, man, Dutch Bros is probably bigger in Phoenix than it was where it started.
I mean, it's probably not wrong, well, because it's like, because Seattle's up there. I would have thought
Yeah.
that Starbucks would have dominated the Northwest, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, or at this point, it's such a popular corporate thing that I don't know. I always imagine like very classic millennial hipster for that area. So they're doing their local owned, harvested coffee beans, fertilized by my own ass type shit.
Mood.
Dude.
Oh my
It's like that's how I hear Flagstaff is out here. And which to be fair is like if you go to Flagstaff and you look at pictures of it, you're gonna feel like you're in the Northwest versus the Southwest, like that's not Arizona. There's pine trees everywhere. It snows.
You know what I think we're gonna start doing next time we do a podcast, which I would be down to do it pretty regularly, but we need to be live when we do this shit.
Dude, I agree.
I know people
I
that do that, and oh man, I hear it's a blast.
dude, I'd be down until one of us says something stupid. And then it's gonna be like the ones like we're gonna average like 3, 4 views, people a regular video, and then all of a sudden when that one happens, that's when we get fucking everyone. It's like, oh shit, well, so much for the possibility of a creative you know career. And it's like, well, I didn't actually believe that, but now the people who do believe that are going to be my fans. So guess I'm leaning into it. I'm a flat earther. You
You
know, there you go.
you
That's
wanna
what we're going to use as my example.
you wanna know something crazy? It's not exactly that, but something related to that. I still get, YouTube community strike notices because of things Johnny said in privated videos 6 years ago.
Dude, what?
Yes.
If it's privated, how the fuck does it matter?
I don't know, I'll get, like, a thing from YouTube that's like, "Oh, you are no longer eligible to do this," and I have to go fight it.
Dude, actually, to be fair, I do have a copyright strike on a privated video as well because I made for a for a I'm trying to think a college assignment. We had to do a stop motion video, and so I did one that was actually
You showed it to me,
I
I've
think I
seen it.
told yeah because that was in the old apartment,
Yeah,
and I used music from Toy Story because
yeah.
I thought that was yeah I thought that was funny, and you know later I went in and it's like this video's copyright striked. I'm like, "Oh, shit."
You know,
But
fuck Bryan
I
Adams. I love Bryan Adams, but Bryan Adams cost me my monetized YouTube channel.
really?
I had a
Oh, I is it Bryan Adams or is it his l record company that
well,
he's
it's
with?
it's it's his label, but we blame it on him. I made a
Fuck you,
I
Canadian fuck.
I made a music video on GTA one time to one of his songs that also had a music video, and they fucking copyright struck that shit. Not even a fucking slap on the wrist. They're like, "If you fight this and it turns out you are wrong, we will take you to court."
That's insane.
This is right before I started to go to school again in Martinsville, like, literally weeks before.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah.
Did you remove the video, like, completely, or
I removed the video completely, but the thing is at that time, they changed the monetization requirements, so I was no longer eligible once I got everything taken care of.
man, if Drama Alert can exist and Keemstar can have a YouTube channel, like and not saying that he's, you know, as bad as he used to be type thing, not saying that he isn't redeemable, however, that guy had an unhinged past, and if he can get money off YouTube, motherfucker, anyone should be able to, honestly.
Yeah.
Hang on, I gotta get my, you know what I keep in my little work briefcase?
Uh,
I keep the
sh
important stuff in here.
shotgun.
You ready? It's something I can shotgun. Ah! I just put it in there. I got some drinks.
Are we starting a
Um,
segment called oh, wait, that's a Mountain Dew, that's not an energy drink. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong thing. We're gonna start a segment where we shotgun energy drinks at in the
that'd be
evening.
crazy. Hey, I need this. Like, I for real, I would probably be taking a nap right now.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought about it. I was like, when I was working, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do when I get home? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come in and I'm going to take like a 30-minute nap or something, and I'm gonna get up and then we'll do the podcast. But I'm like, no, I went to I went to Circle K the beginning of the day. I did the a 3 for 7 on the Celsius. So I'm like, I'll
Drink it.
drink one. There you go. I drink one when I go, I'll drink one when I get back, and then I'll drink one when I get there too.
Yeah.
So, but I won't. I think I told you this where I don't trust myself to drive unless I have an energy drink on me,
Yeah. I remember that.
which is concerning. It's not normal.
If you guys wanna make us not have to work 9 to 5 jobs, get us to 300,000 subscribers. If this ever hits the light of day, and if you guys get us to 300,000 subscribers, we'll do a live stream where we play Dead by Daylight with viewers.
Amen to that. I love that.
That's
Hell
all
yeah.
they get.
That's all they get. Dude, I thought about this. I've been thinking about this recently about saying fuck all to the day job. Not that I don't enjoy it, like obviously I do, but like as a creative person, obviously you want to do something that's creative, you know?
Mhm.
And I remember the drummer I told you about.
Yeah.
So for anyone who is I'll shout them out since they're a smaller band, but they're a band called Smile on the Sinner. They're a metalcore band in Phoenix. I know their drummer from working with him at another job. And recently, not that I'm good enough to really propose this, but recently their bassist has been out of everything they've been doing. Like he's not in at any of their shows, he's not in any of their promotional material, like nothing. And this was addressed a while ago. They were like, yeah, he just wasn't on the tour when we with all the stuff that we did, but he'll be back later in the year. But it's later in the year and I'm still not seeing him, and they don't follow him on Instagram either. And I was like thinking, I'm like, if I messaged him, was like, do you need a bassist? And if he was like, yeah, we do, would I be able to be like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna risk it, you know?
Fuck
Because
this
they're at that
shit.
point, yeah, well, because they're at a point where they're like, they obviously still need day jobs, like they're still doing stuff,
Yeah.
but there's also a chance that they could jump that next level, you
Yeah.
know? And so it's like, eh, I don't think I'm man enough to do it, you know? Like I wish I could, but they'd be like, "Dude, we're going on tour," because they just came back from a tour that
Yeah.
they did, and it was like a week or 2, and I'm like, "I couldn't take off my job that I have now that long," you know? And I would need another job that would allow that, but also be one that would pay less, you know?
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, you know? I think I'll just stick with Rinfield, and we'll build our shit, you know?
Hey man, we'll be number one without ever playing a live show. We'll
Dude,
be
I
Sergeant
thought
Pepper
about that.
Beatles. Beatles.
So there you go. I know. I was like, I thought about that. I was like, oh my god, because the idea of doing a live show sounds cool to me. Like I'm like, oh, I'd love to be able to go on stage and like, fuck all and shit. But then I remember, oh yeah, I'm one of those people who genuinely take anxiety medication, and I can barely I can barely talk at in front of a crowd at work. Like we have a it's called like a new hire orientation that comes through like once every biweekly Friday on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So every other Wednesday people come in and they come into our department and one of us has to stand up and like explain the department. And I did it the last 2 times and I've noticed like myself shaking while I'm doing it. I'm like in my head I'm like, "Oh my god, am I like this anxious that I'm literally like I've never had that happen before." Like I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm not like it was like in my head I'm like I'm not this anxious, but my body is reacting so anxious to it right now. It is weird. And then so imagining myself, you know, for one playing bass, which I mean, you and me both know that that is barely, and I'm not even that fully confident with my own singing voice that I could sing in my house by myself, Like I've told you the stupid shit that I fucking do to do the vocal tracks that we needed. And it's like, if I'm not confident enough to do that, how the fuck would I be confident enough to do that on stage?
Y- the
You
way I
know?
think about it, okay, number one, if they're paying me enough money to fucking leave the house to fucking play live, it's gonna be a shit ton. We're talking about a bag. Um, number two, if there's people actually paying to go see it, they are not gonna give a fuck how we sound if they're really punk.
True. That is really true.
I mean, look at
I've
Blink-182. They sound like shit live.
I'll let you know. I'm gonna see them in October. They're headlining one of the nights for the music festival we go to. I'm actually really excited for it. I think it'll be cool.
Oh,
But
Tom loves his pitch correction nowadays. Fucking
really,
Coachella last year. Oh, he accidentally turned it on during first date. Whew.
that's rough. It's funny about these guys because I mean, to be fair,
As
for
I'm
me,
wearing a
like I'm
Blink-182
not.
shirt.
Yeah, no, we're not shit talking, and this is kind of what I'm getting at with this, right? Is I hear this all the time because I'm in a community, like a Facebook group chat for this festival we go to, which is the Aftershock Festival in Sacramento. And every year they always have some sort of like legacy act, is what I'm going to call them. So like the first year Kiss played, second year Guns N' Roses, third year Iron Maiden, right? Like people who are well past their prime, and I'm just I'm being honest, like that's just how it is,
Yeah.
and in the group chat, everyone's always like, "Man, why were they up there? They sounded like shit, like blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Listen, point blank, like I enjoyed it. I was so like specifically with Green Day or not Green Day, Guns N' Roses specifically. I was happy that I got to see them. And the reason why was like you don't go see these bands for a good show. Like you just don't. You go there to see Guns N' Roses. You go there to see Kiss, you know? It's gonna be the same thing with, like, when Ozzy does his thing. Like, he's gonna go up there and maybe perform 3 songs himself, and he is going to mumble it while he's sitting down, you know? But guess what? You don't go there for a show, you go there because 'cause you're gonna be like, "Dude, I just fucking saw Ozzy live." Like, that's how I would be. I'd be excited for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was bummed when, Aerosmith canceled their farewell tour because of Steven Tyler. Like, I had tickets for that, and I was so excited for it, and then he hurt his voice, and they canceled the whole tour, and they retired from touring altogether. Which sucks. I won't be able to see them now, and I'm bummed. Point being, I thought to myself, I was like, I don't give a fuck how he sounds. Like, it would be one thing of like him damaging his voice, but if it was like, if the only reason why you're not doing it is because he's not going to sound good, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going there to see Aerosmith. I'm going to see there to see Steven Tyler. Like, I am already fully conscious and aware that they're well past their prime, and it's not going to sound like how I want it to. You know, it's not going to be prime Steven Tyler. You know, and if you're going there thinking that, then you're fucking stupid. Like,
Yeah.
that's just how it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to rant, like, just go on an absolute rant about this, but you give me a mic and I turn into a news anchor or something.
This is the first time I think I've ever made content where I don't even have to say anything.
You know, I'm just like, I'm just going, and I see you're just like, yeah, yeah,
Keep it going, man. This is
dude.
nice.
Well, I've noticed as of recent, like, I'm such a big yapper. I'm like, you put me in the right context, and I'll just go. And that's one of the problems with like me. I've tried to do like TikTok videos, right? And the problem with them is that they're too long because I just go. I'm like, I can't get my point across. And I've talked to my mom about it because she's actually been pretty successful on TikTok. And one of the things that she's like says is like you gotta be fast, you gotta be straight to the point, right? That's how you know that's the point of TikTok is that it's fast, you know, easily biteable, consumable content. And as you've just bear witness, that would have been a whole TikTok video. Like,
I think you're more podcast type than you are TikTok.
yeah,
You got
it's
a lot to
just
say. There's not enough time to say it.
this is true. Exactly. And I maybe yeah, that's the problem is like I'm trying to reach out to an audience that, you know, isn't there. I'm trying to do like put myself in a position where I could do like fast consumable like TikToks. So you know, as surprise, surprise, I really like music. Wow, who would have thought that? And I've had like an idea of like different like music content thoughts that wanted to make. And one thing that I'm doing to help like get my thoughts together with it is I have this, which is an Excel sheet, and I've taken every song that I have saved on Spotify, which is about 4,500, and I'm putting it in like a ranking list. So
Yeah.
I'm rating the song and I'm putting it in this like list. And because I want to go and I'm like, oh yeah, these are my top 10 punk rock songs. These are my top 10 songs from the 30s, you know, things like that. And yeah, I don't know why I felt like, you know, ranking out 4,000 songs would be the easiest way to do that, but apparently that's what I chose to do,
Nah,
you know?
that's easy stuff. But the new meta, and you could honestly start doing this on YouTube. Like on if you want to talk about like a show you're gonna go to, what you should do, just record vertical or horizontal footage on your phone. Don't worry about talking over it. You put in your thoughts afterwards over some B-roll. Boom, you have a video on YouTube that is potential for some algorithm beauty. That is the meta right now, at least on YouTube. And I'm seeing it a lot more on TikTok. That old style on TikTok, it seems like it's about to be phased out with the old YouTube meta, because that's kind of how this stuff works.
Oh yeah, I never even thought of it that way. Like, you know, obviously, like, you know, we grew up on YouTube and we got to see like cycles of like YouTube trends, like, oh, it was originally skit content, and then we went to gaming, and then we went to pranks, and then we went to vlogs, and blah 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 blah. I don't even really know what the big thing is right now, but I never. Point being, again, here I go yapping. Is I never thought about TikTok going in those same like trends. I always thought of it as like, when you think of like TikTok and like the cycles it goes through, it's more of like the fast, easy bite, like meme trends that literally cycle out almost every 2 weeks
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah, but as somebody who watches your content, things I think that would be cool to see, because I watch out for that stuff. If I see it, I may not like it. I'm not good at liking stuff, but I am watching.
I get it.
um,
Trust me.
but some content I think that could do really well on your TikTok page would be like just you going to shows and like just showing shit, not even like playing the audio from the shows, but like you giving your thoughts over some like B-roll footage.
That might not be a bad idea. I have one saved in my phone because I went and I didn't post it, and I think it's just because I had so much going on, but I planned on doing it when I went and I photographed for a band called Calabrese. I did it when I did it for Vision Video. I posted a video for it, and I was like, I need to keep up with it, and then I recorded like B-roll footage and like my thoughts before and after. But I never edited and posted it, and now I feel like it's a little too late. Their tour's over, and I guess I could still do it, but like, I don't know, feels weird.
No,
Not that anyone, I mean, not that anyone would really care. It's like, I get, I on average, I probably get like 500 views, and most of those are swipe aways in like 2 seconds. So
yeah, that's the average with TikTok.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then, but it'd be like that sometimes. You know what's really funny? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go. I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Oh, I was gonna say we came in with an idea of what we wanted this TikTok to be about, and we've been rambling for how long about
With live stream.
everything.
Um,
But
we're not live. Yeah, we're 22 minutes into the recording.
we'll see. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say. So should we make like an unofficial official intro? If you guys
Yeah.
haven't been here, I don't know how much of what was said is gonna be in the podcast. You guys probably know us. I doubt there's anybody new here, but if you are, welcome. I'm Ben. I'm the Rin.
I'm the Rin, the Rim.
Oh,
Giggity, yeah. My name is Drake. I'm the field in this situation. Me and Ben have such a very weird, complicated history. I think is the best way to describe it. But we've known each other since literally
about
preschool.
literally 20 years at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and we, if we continue with this, we can unravel everything we've been through together. Because I mean, honestly, I think about how things were with us, and I'm like, this is a very like I explain our story to people, and they're like, "And you still talk to that guy?" I'm like, "Yep, yep, I have no problem with it." Not that you did. I don't. Not that you did anything bad, like, but some like there. It was we moved in together, late teens, early 20s, we're still trying to figure things out about ourselves and things like that. But,
Yeah.
it's adult things. Adult things.
Yeah.
But
We've been around, people.
yeah. But point being, regardless, we always end up coming back together, and we like just making bullshit, whether it be videos, podcasts, music. We're always usually, if we're doing something, it's like some project that we did, and Ben has cursed my digital footprint, as I like to call it. I look back at a lot of the things that we did together, and I'm like, oh my god. There's two of them specifically that come to mind. I'm not going to talk about it while we're recording, but they have their own little special spots in my digital catalog. So, but yeah.
I would say one of them is probably going to be pulled. The other one just got re-released.
That's true. Well, no. So one of them. So I'll talk about one of them. So one of them, it seems like you're already aware of what I'm talking about. The other one is a video that we did.
Oh, which
Do you know
one?
which one I'm talking about? It's the one where you made me. I was like, I went crazy and went into the woods, and I'm like, I have my hood up and I have like a stick and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Wait, you know what?
You know what I
Yeah, I know that one.
I'm
Um,
like,
we'll pull it
I
right now.
watched that. I watched that. I cringed so bad. I'm like, oh no.
You know what? Just for you, we will take that down. I am not proud of that.
I appreciate that because I'm like, I see it. I'm like, oh my god, that exists in my life.
To be fair, I actually didn't even know that was still live on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at it in forever, but every once in a while, it'll it'll pop up to remind me that it exists. He's like, "Hey, by the way, this exists and it's documented for everyone to see." I'm just like,
It's funny
just
because there's like probably 5 DVDs of that just floating
really.
around. Yeah,
Oh my god.
I
The apocalypse is gonna happen and someone's gonna come across it for like entertainment. They'll probably drive them to just end it right there.
what?
Oh my god.
Right.
But it's yeah, it just goes to show kids be careful what you put on the internet. Thank God, like for the most part, I mean we do all this bullshit, but in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing out there that can hurt us, which I think is we were aware of. I mean, we grew up in a very digital, internet based age, and I think we became pretty literate in what you should and should not put online. But of course, everyone was young at some point. You do things. You do cringy things. It happens.
Yep. Oh, okay. That video is unlisted. We're just gonna
Thank
make it
God.
private.
There we go.
Wait, I accidentally almost pushed public. Sorry. It is private.
I almost pushed public.
I have recently discovered that I might be dyslexic.
I I mean, valid, and it's all that stuff's kind of you're gonna make me go on a tangent, and it's really making me feel like because I also have been thinking about this. Not to, and I'm not a fan of self diagnoses at all. Like I think everyone is trying to self diagnose, and it's insane. But I have recently thought of this, like maybe I have like ADD or ADHD or something, you know, because I yap, and I also do have a really bad attention span. Like I try to remind myself, like at work when I'm working, I want to look at my phone every like 5 minutes. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm at work. Put it away. You don't need the distraction. But like my brain can only focus so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to talk to my doctor about it. Whenever I go see him, not to bring things up, but if I will not say that I have ADD or ADHD, unless I get a doctor to tell me that and gives me the good drugs for it. So
Yeah.
until then, I just am just a product of the time. I'm just a
You have a
young,
curiosity.
yeah, I'm a Gen Zer who has a short attention span and a what would they call it? A unique personality, right? He's you know what I'm saying? He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, that's Kyle. He's not autistic. He's got a special personality." It's like, "No, I think Kyle needs to be diagnosed." You know?
Yeah, especially I'm not gonna say that. I can't say what I was about to say. You know what? We're here for a thing, and no, it's not see it to believe it as much as everyone would love a fourth episode and not a third episode that we low key faked that nobody knows about because it got pulled from YouTube.
My god, clip that everyone, clip that. It's faked. It's fake. No.
It's funny because I mean it was I think me, Tyler, Connor, and Cy, and we recorded at. I'll tell this story. I think everyone deserves to know this story.
God, all right.
Um, and then we'll try to get into the actual topic.
Okay.
But we recorded this episode where we went to the bridge out between like Charleston and um I forgot where it is, to be honest with you. With but
Westfield?
I don't think it's between Charleston and Westfield.
No.
It might be between Charleston and Ashmore, but it's like where the dude, like a guy, like chopped up this lady and dumped her in a river on
Oh, I know what
the
you're
old
talking.
wooden bridge.
Yep, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I think that is like Ashmore 'cause you go past Walmart, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yep.
And we went out there. Funny enough, we went out there the day that like deer hunting started. So we were just hearing gunshots go off. But we went out there, we shot a video, not very tasteful. I think it may be it lived on YouTube for probably a week, and then I took it down. But it's literally titled "See It to Believe It" fake episode now on my YouTube, so I don't accidentally ever republish it. Someday we'll react to that. We'll do a live reaction.
Oh my god. And I will say, with that, which that is hilarious. And I'm proud of you for your character growth and being able to admit your mistakes. The other two that we did, like the full documentaries that we did, those are real. And I mean, and you can tell because I think if we faked it, there'd be a lot more going on with it. There's not, spoiler alert. If you are a fan of horror and like independent sort of like films and stuff, I honestly recommend to check it out. I think Ben did a really good job with the editing, and we did really good with the commentary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's not much going on. I think there was small things that happened in both of them, and even in the second one, which always explain as my like biggest ghost story. We didn't even get on film.
Yeah. And nobody believes us.
Dude,
what we heard.
I tell that story all the time. They're always like, because obviously when you're into horror and Halloween and stuff, people are, want to ask like, do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in demons and stuff like that? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, I did like 2 big like actual like active ghost hunts before, and then I'll tell the story of what happened in the second one. So do we tell it?
Yeah, I mean, we might have even like talked about it during the commentary.
I think we did.
But so we went to what I don't even know what it's called.
Whisper Estates in Indiana. I don't remember what city it was in, but it's in Indiana.
And we go there, of course, with the full intent of shooting this video of ghost hunting. And near the end of the night, we're packing up, and we send Eli and Tyler upstairs to go. Were they turning off lights or closing doors?
Closing doors, because I don't think we turned on any of the lights, but they were like, when you leave, like, shut the doors and stuff. So,
or they may have just been doing like one final walkthrough to make sure we didn't leave it anywhere. But
yeah.
As they are coming downstairs, and they will disagree with us to this day about what happened, but as they were coming down the stairs, the door on the complete opposite side of the house on the second floor slams.
Yeah. So I guess for context, so the house is really weird. It has 2 sets of stairs, right? There's one on the front side of the house and then one on the back side of the house. At the top of the front side stairs, there's a door, like right there when you come up the stairs. That was 100% the door that closed. And while they were doing that on the other side, Tyler and Eli were coming down. And if we were actually good ghost hunters, we would have followed up on that. But
Exactly.
we didn't 100% know what was going on. We were tired. Yeah, we were just like, we just wanted to go to the hotel room. But that was not very Ghost Adventures of us.
We did not I don't think we took the proper precautions that night to actually prepare ourselves for what we were going to do.
No. I still, and I told myself I would do this, and I never did. And I think a lot of the reason why is because the video was so bad I couldn't see what was happening. But I introduced the tarot card thing, and my dumbass bought Spanish ones, so I had no idea what they were saying. And so I'm like asking the ghost questions, and I'm like flipping these tarot cards, and I'm like, I don't even know what it was, but the idea was to look through it and like um check and see if the tarot card related to the response that we got. And I never did that because I went through the video to do the research on it, and I couldn't even see what it was. And then obviously in the video, I didn't know what card to call out because I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It was really stupid of me to get a Spanish set of tarot cards when I don't speak Spanish. And also, not even on top of that, I didn't even know what tarot cards even meant. Like, I don't know what each of the tarots mean. And, I so I go in and being like, "Oh yeah, I know. I'm really deep into the supernatural," and I fuck all didn't know what I was doing.
I would love to go and do another shoot somewhere.
I think it'd be cool. I mean, I'm still kind of kicking myself in the head living in Arizona for 6 years and not going to a ghost town yet.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I haven't went to at least Jerome yet is actually quite criminal on my alternative, gothic horror fanatic card. It's like,
Yeah.
you live in Arizona, you are in that kind of life, and you haven't done that? Seriously? Are you really? You fucking poser?
Man, if we just could convince Tyler to come down. Tyler, if you're seeing this, hit me TF up and we will go to Jerome.
I like how you censor yourself and I'm just literally saying all the words. I'm sorry though, you'll probably have to edit those.
Oh no, I'm not editing.
Yeah.
It's fine.
As
You don't get in
it
trouble.
is what it is. That's okay, cool.
Or Yuma Gila Bend. Or why'd I call it Yuma? It's Yuma. What am I saying?
Yuma, yeah.
The person.
Yuma, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I work with someone who's originally from Yuma, actually.
I still have a tab saved on my computer for all of the places in Arizona that have like places you can go do ghost hunts.
Okay, hang on, let me think. So there's the Yuma prison. I would never remember that if we didn't just mention it. So I'm not gonna, act like that. I know there's Jerome, there is Tombstone. I want to say there's another one close to the Maricopa area, but I can't remember what it was.
They've added a lot of things. Oh, they got one in the substation at Apache Junction.
Oh, really?
There's also the Flagstaff. You have the Skinwalker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, huh? And so there's this thing. It's in Mesa, and it's so funny because when I go to the Nile Theater in downtown Mesa, I see this all the time. But they have the paranormal, like the Phoenix Paranormal Society or something like that, and they're headquartered in Mesa, and they do late night paranormal tours.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $20. So that's another thing that I need to do that I haven't. But it's like $20.
Do that and record it for TikTok.
Dude, here's the thing. The best part about it is when they do it, you don't walk around. They have, those like stuffed like animal carts that kids can ride at the malls and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you're driving around in.
Oh my god.
They have these little scooter things that you all like I'll be sitting there in line for a show and I will see like 7 to 10 of these like they're set up as like Day of the Dead themed. So these like Day of the Dead horses like passing by me and I'm like, what is happening? This is insane. And I always find it funny. I never realized what it was, but they just opened up like a museum. And when we went there, they had all of their little carts lined up. I was like, oh, they're doing paranormal stuff. That's cool.
Oh, wow. They must have. Man, I remember when they were small with the people.
Yeah, well, their museum is very small. Like it's literally it's $5 to get in, and it's like 2 rooms maybe to go through it.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like I thought it was kind of cool. I wish there was a little bit more, but
yeah.
I guess that's just something that they just need to build up on. But I think they're doing pretty good with the tours at least.
Yeah.
Like,
that just reminded me of the time on Next Door when we put out if anybody was interested in doing a house call.
Oh my god, I remember that. Dude, if we did that, we would have been on a Netflix documentary about how we got murdered.
Yeah,
Like,
literally. There was one person though who's like, "Yeah, my house is haunted," but they never like actually got back to us.
oh yeah, because you did follow up with them, and then nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Man,
I
imagine
probably
that
would
world.
dude, honestly, I would've went with it too. If you went through all that trouble, I've been like, "Alright, let's go to this random person's house," and then in the end, they're not haunted, the dude was just tweaking on meth, like,
Exactly. And now we're addicted.
I know. He got us doing it too.
So, the reason you all clicked on the video, it's a little film series called Tony Todd. Final Destination, is that what
Final
it's called?
Destination. Yes. Were you wanting me to jump in there? I
I
if you
don't
did,
know.
I was not paying attention.
I don't know.
I was letting you I was letting you yap a little bit. Yes,
Uh,
so sorry, go ahead.
oh, I don't. Just because make noise. They like noise when you're podcasting.
Oh, I see. So, but yeah, so what we're gonna be doing is so I recently binge watched all of the Final Destination movies, 1 through 6. I saw the new one in theaters as well. And seeing that our history together started off with movie reviews, I thought what better way to start the podcast than to discuss probably one of the most iconic horror movie franchises of modern time. I think that's a really good way to put it. A lot of horror movie franchises are obviously very legacy based, but um, the first Final Destination movie came out in in 2000. So in the grand scheme of things, it is a very young um horror
I
franchise. Mhm. And we're gonna talk about it. And Ben, he did 1 through 5, and he's seen 1 through 5, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he refreshed his brain on them. So we're gonna go through, talk about which ones were our favorites, some iconic moments, yada yada yada, and I will also briefly be doing a little spoiler discussion on the 6th one. So I think obviously the best way to maybe go about this is to start at number 1.
Or
So,
should we talk about our history with Final Destination first? Or
actually, I think it's a really good idea.
because
Yeah.
because I actually remember exactly where I was the very first time I saw a Final Destination movie.
Okay, that's actually
So,
pretty crazy. I
um,
go ahead.
so the first time it's actually funny because it was the first time I also saw Children of the Corn like 6 and 7. Terrible movies. Those are for October. Anyways, um, first time I ever watched Final Destination, it was actually Final Destination 2. And which is probably honestly with the log trucks, people probably know Final Destination 2 more than they know Final Destination 1. Everybody has that fear because of that. But I watched that. It was probably 2013 or 14. I was at my aunt's house in La Crosse, Wisconsin. It was the day after Thanksgiving. And I'm just laying on the couch and I'm watching these logs go through people.
It's crazy.
And I remember seeing clear, um, and being like, okay, like I didn't know it was the second one. But I'm like, why is this one character in this mental hospital and why is she so important to this movie without any context? And then they just kill her.
Dude. You know what's really funny is I don't remember the first time I saw a Final Destination movie. However, I do remember that the one that I remember is Final Destination 2. Now, up till I did this marathon, the only ones I saw were 1 and 2. I never saw 3, 4, or 5. I know, blasphemy.
You didn't see the
Um,
bad ones?
no, dude, we can talk about that when we get into it. Um, and to be fair, I honestly didn't remember, like, all I remember were, like, some of the deaths. I didn't remember which one came from where, like, I remember, the guy when his apartment was burning down and he got the ladder to the eye. I remember the guy from the beginning of the first one when he got suffocated by the shower, which I want to talk about that one real quick
Yeah.
because there's something about that death that is different from all the others. All right. And that's the fact that there was death did like a cover up.
Yep, yep. That's the only kill
So
that's cover up his
yeah.
tracks.
So like it was so the toilet was leaking, right? And he slips and he strangles himself. And then once he dies, the water gets sucked back up
Yeah.
into the toilet and it looks like a suicide. Death never does anything like that ever again. Everything else just happens by circumstance. And I'm like, and even in that movie too, like even in that movie, death does not cover up any of the deaths. And it's like, why? Why is it that like you could have just left the water and he still would like it still would have been the same. Like, and honestly, to be fair, the fact that his death was deemed a suicide didn't even really change the plot, like at all.
You know what James from Dead Meat said about that death? He's
What?
like, come on, Death, you don't need to cover your tracks. You're not gonna get arrested. Do you also notice how blue the water was?
Yeah. Oh, we talked about that too when we were watching it. Alexia's mom said something about it being blue. I remember. I feel like I remember hearing something about blue water, but yeah.
Maybe that their family is one of those cultures. There's like a Hispanic culture, something like that, that loves to put like this blue stuff inside of like their bath, like the toilet, in the inside.
Interesting. I didn't know
to
that.
clean it. I probably just completely butchered the culture. Sorry, guys. You can call me on the comments.
The real thing about this is that people do have blue water in their toilet. That's the main thing here.
Shade of blue.
Yeah, not that shade of blue. That's funny.
Man.
But yeah, I always found that to be weird. I'm like, why does he cover up his tracks in that way? It makes zero sense to me. But
I just thought of if we do another Halloween marathon, obviously not 31 days of movie reviews, but if we do like another Halloween marathon-esque video or something this year, last time we did stuff, we are the cause of Brendan Fraser getting an Oscar. I just want to put that out there.
Dude, oh my God. The fact that it was kind of documented too, right?
Yeah.
You go check out Dren Movie Reviews, and we were praising and watching Brendan Fraser movies before his renaissance happened. And to be honest, that was fully on Ben. Ben was the one that did that. To me, he was just another actor, but Ben was like, listen, this man is the GOAT. He is the man. We're going to watch his movies. You're going to agree with me, and he needs a second chance. And then guess what happened? It happened. And now Brendan and Matthew Lillard are two of the most beloved names in film as of right now. And Keanu Reeves as well.
But this year we're going to do a little, I think we should do a little special something for Devon Sawa.
Who was that?
That's Alex from Final Destination 1.
Oh, okay.
He was in
what was that?
Oh, he's been in other horror movies that I've seen. He was in the Chucky series. He's in like every season of Chucky, which has been canceled.
You know what's really funny is he's in this movie. It literally I did not know existed until a few days ago when my dad told me about it. He's in a movie called Wild America. And apparently so I never saw this, but my dad randomly texts me. He shows it to me. He's like, "This is on Tubi, by the way. It's free." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, I'll check it out." And he's like, "Do you remember this?" I was like, "No, I don't. I've never seen this in my life." And he just told me that like Cy and Blade both remembered it, but me and Stone didn't. He's like, Stone didn't know it either, but Blade and Cy remember it. And Blade was talking to me about it a few days ago and was, loved it and stuff. And I even looked up the trailer and I'm like, I don't know anything. I've never seen this in my entire life. So seeing that is actually really funny.
Yeah. But man, gotta love Devon Sawa.
Yeah, well, I would be down. He's also give me an excuse to watch Salt Lake City Punk.
There was like a period in like the late 90s to like 2000 or 2001, where that was like the Devon Sawa era.
I'm looking, it looks like it's, like, from, like, 95 to 2000
Yeah.
was about where like, when he was doing things, and then by 2002, he was doing B-rate, 2000s, comedy,
And now
you
he's
know?
he's doing stuff again now. Like I saw
Is he?
he was in Hard Eyes this year. Um the Valentine's Day slasher movie that came out.
Oh.
That was a fun movie. I'd be down to take a look at that at some point. But yeah, that's I'd be down to get him an Oscar in the next 2
Yeah.
years.
Let's manifest it. Let's
Yeah.
manifest it. So, but, um, kind of gonna swing back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
So, I don't we don't have to talk too much about the first Final Destination. I feel like everyone, for the most part, has seen it.
Yeah.
And overall, like, as to be fair, I think the movie's dated. I think, honestly, all the Final Destination movies are dated to hell.
Mhm.
And I we've kinda discussed this in the past where, just movies in general, like horror movies in general from the 2000s are just super dated, just mainly due to the usage of CGI. I think there was, like, a CGI renaissance around that time period that has unfortunately dated a lot of those movies. And oh, trust me, we'll get to it when we talk about them. But Final Destination really, really suffers from that.
The worst part
On it,
about it is that like the first 3 Final Destination movies were so heavy on practical effects because the directors, at least the director for Final Destination 2, was actually a stunt coordinator.
really,
So, yeah, that's why Final Destination 2 has a lot of lack of CGI, which is a good thing.
mm, yeah.
Pretty much the biggest CGI in Final Destination 2 was just the logs, pretty much.
And well, and to be fair, it was probably so fast that I mean, and it's literally the most iconic scene.
Yeah,
So let's go ahead. So I'm gonna finish up with Final Destination so we can talk about Final Destination 2. But
absolutely.
overall, Final Destination, the first one, pretty solid film overall. You get the huge concept of it, and that that was an original idea. Like, it's an original concept,
Yeah.
and it was
Do,
great. And,
do you know where the concept for Final Destination came from?
no, I have no idea.
Final Destination was a based off of a script that was the director, or maybe it wasn't the director, but the writer had written for um oh, what's that show that has that one song that ba da 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 bum ba da 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 X-Files. Final Destination
Okay,
is a plot for X-Files that they never made.
interesting.
Yeah,
Huh? I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's actually kind of cool. So yeah, now we know the origin as well. And now let's go to the most icon. We've already talked about it. It's the most iconic Final Destination movie, Final Destination 2. And so the first one was the plane, second one, the highway pileup, and of course, as we've talked about multiple times, the famous log scene. And we can talk about it as well when we get to it. They highly reference that in the new one
yeah.
all the time. I mean, I think they did it in some of their old ones as well, but they really lay it on thick for this other one. I'm like,
I've seen the
uh,
references.
yeah. Well, we can talk about it,
Oh my
but, yeah, so Final Destination 2, and I think one of the big things about it is, the first Final Destination, they had a lot of quick deaths,
Mhm.
where Final Destination 2, they obviously got a budget, and the deaths became excessively horrific, and it's really defined what was to come for Final Destination. And not to say that the first ones weren't bad, I mean, but it was like, I think the worst one honestly was probably there was 2 of them that stick to mind. One was the strangulation. That one was a hard watch,
Yeah,
but also you don't really need a budget to make that happen. And then the decapitation from the, train,
I think of
you know?
Carter's
But that
death. at the end of it.
Which one? Oh yeah, because he gets hit
Yeah, and
by
then
the
it cuts to
sign.
black.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I think the most elaborate death from the first one was the teacher's.
Yeah,
But in the end, it was her house was burning and she got stabbed. Like, that's not that crazy.
yeah,
Now we're getting to the crazy shit, you know? And, I mean, I mean, there's really, I mean, we can go into the deaths if we want, but like, they are very unique and it really solidifies the whole setup sequence. I think is also another big thing about it. Where, like I said, from the first one, they were really quick deaths. This one, that's when we start getting the sequence of like, oh, we're zooming in on this outlet and it's going to have water dripping on it. And then over here, we're going to go see, and there's a book that just fell off this, table. And, the whole sequence. That's what I think really
yeah,
started in that second one.
yeah, and they added more to it. I think some of them were probably I don't even really know. I'm thinking of the deaths. One of the deaths that really stuck with me was the one with the lady in the car, and then like the PVC pipe is like gone through there, and then when they do put they jam the saw into the door, and then it hits the airbag and it pushes her head back. That's one
Yeah.
I
Oh,
vividly
I totally
remember.
forgot. I'm seeing it as you're saying it. The ones that I remember the most were, that's the one where the apartment one happens. The guy gets to the apartment. There was also the kid at the dentist, and they had a whole setup sequence that literally did nothing. And then in the end, he scared off some um, birds and then got smashed by a giant panel of
Yeah.
glass.
Oh,
And then, sorry, go ahead.
you know what the worst death of Final Destination 2 is?
What?
Alex's death.
Because they didn't even show it.
Exactly, because Devin saw one,
Dude,
didn't want to do it.
really?
That's why, yeah.
Interesting, that's crazy. Um, yeah, and the most interesting thing about Final Destination 2, and this is gonna be a spoiler.
Oh, I think I know what you're
Alright,
about to say. Something gets
are you
retconned,
ready?
doesn't it?
I think you're
Yeah,
picking up what I'm putting
yeah,
down.
yeah. Go ahead.
Spoiler alert for literally all the movies going forward. This is the only one where someone survives.
Mhm.
The only one, and I thought about that after seeing the most recent one. I'm like, this like, no one survives. Like, no one. And it is crazy to think about. I'm, like, honestly good on Final Destination for doing that.
You
Like,
know,
I think that's actually a really important part to the movie franchise.
you know it's funny because I'm gonna jump the gun here, or so I forget which one it is, but one of the Final Destination movies also says that the girl who survives at the end of Final Destination 2 dies, but I know that is retconned in the newest one.
Yes. Yes, it
Yeah,
is. I didn't realize that she technically died in one of the other ones.
the
I just
doctor's dead. Yeah,
interesting, I didn't know that. Huh. I didn't know that, yeah.
it's
I
it,
keep saying I didn't know that, but
it's
yeah.
so crazy though because, for Final Destination 1, or like how in Final Destination 2 they have this whole plot of like the one lady, oh, she has to go give birth to her baby
Mhm.
to create new life. And it ends up not being the case. That is actually how Final Destination 1 ended. They had the original ending had Clear giving birth to her and Alex's child. So she was
Interesting.
yeah, so she was never set up for death. So her and Carter actually survived in the original cut, but then they changed it.
Well, we can also discuss that rule because that also changes with this most recent one as well.
Oh, good. I
And
actually haven't heard that. So,
it's a very important,
oh,
element to the new one,
that's literally
honestly.
the plot. Death does not
Mhm.
create life. That's why it's called Bloodlines, because it's both a
Yep.
prequel and a sequel simultaneously.
Yep, and we'll talk we'll get because I remember we'll talk about it when we get to it,
Yeah.
but, I'm gonna slowly rank them as we go. So, because of its iconicness, Final Destination 2's gotta be before Final Destination 1. They're both, I think, really good movies, and I think are very good starts to this franchise. Um, and you're getting what you know what you're getting. Like, you're not getting a super in-depth story, you know? You're watching people die.
They're
That's
giving you a
literally
reason
the
to
point
keep
of it.
that ticket stub.
Exactly, yeah, and yeah, I mean, it's just mind-numbing horror is
Yeah,
literally what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I love a good mind-numbing horror slasher film, so
yeah.
I
Man,
put 2 and then 1. That's so far where we're at right now.
imagine if we did this with the Saw franchise.
Oh my god. I was gonna go through that franchise with, Alexia, and I watched a few of them. I can't remember which one we stopped on, but heck, maybe we can dust that one off later, even though there's
It
an
turns into a soap
insane
opera.
amount of movies for that. Oh my gosh. So, alright, so now we're gonna go and
Number
we're going
3.
to talk about number 3. Number 3, I think, is obviously less popular. This is the
Yep.
one with the race track, right?
No, number 3 is the roller coaster. You have a Mary Elizabeth Winstead, wife of Ewan McGregor.
Really?
Yeah, yep.
Interesting. So,
Big
yeah.
She played high schooler, like a high school girl in like every movie in the 2000s. Like fucking
She
Sky High.
Yeah, because she was I looked this up because I kept seeing her face, I'm like, "I've seen her before," and she plays, she's the main character in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like that movie. So,
But she was everywhere. She's a great actress. I think recently she was actually in like a Star Wars show. So now
really?
her and her husband are in Star Wars. But yeah, she's been in like The Ring 2, like you said, Scott Pilgrim, Sky High, of course, this movie. She was also in the prequel to The Thing called The Thing. She was also in the Black Christmas remake of 2008. So
Wait, I
she's
think, oh, no, because I have, Devin Sawa stuff pulled up. He's in a movie called Black Friday, so my bad. I was like, "Wait, he's in that too."
lots of black in this franchise. I'm gonna get canceled for that.
No, that's not what he meant, that's not what he meant. Um,
She was
but
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Okay, now I'm second
she
guessing
really
her career.
Oh my god. So, alright, we can go and let's start talking about it. So, um, this one I think is when things start going downhill. And, I think a perfect example that I have for it is, it gets severely dated, and the reason why is that also in the 2000s, there was a 3D craze that especially hit horror movies, and oh my
Was
god.
this one
I mean,
3D?
I think it was because that was, think about it, Final Destination 3D.
I th-
That's such a classic horror movie thing to
I
do.
think Final Destination 4 was Final Destination 3D.
I thought they both were in 3D,
This one could have
honestly.
been. I don't. Let's see. We'll find it. 4 was the big one in 3D.
Yes, I do remember that. Was Final
I'm asking Google
Destination
AI what. Uh,
3 in
oh, here we
3D.
go. Final Destination 3 was initially planned to be filmed in 3D, but wasn't.
Interesting. Point being, the digital effects in this are severe. Super severe, specifically in the original death sequence on the roller coaster. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's very hard to do that practical. So obviously they wanted to play around with the new technology that existed at the time. However, it does unfortunately severely date the movie.
Yeah.
So,
Do you know how many
um,
times the actors had to ride the roller coasters on some of like the like wide shots?
how many?
They had to ride the roller coasters upwards of 80 times.
Oh my god, dude. I just feel like just put a dummy of me on that. Like I do not need to be on this ride that many times. That is insane.
Yeah.
I you would oh my god, I would hate that. That would be horrible. I'd be like, "Dude, you're gonna run this thing so much that it is going to malfunction, and this is going to be a Final Destination sequence on its own."
Give
Like,
us
you're gonna
Vegas
be
odds.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be like it literally be the concept of the film of the actors filming Final Destination on the roller coaster,
That should be a
and then
scary movie plot if they make a new one after the one they're currently making.
dude, I thought about that. I was like, "How has Scary Movie not spoofed Final Destination yet?" And they could literally have each of the deaths being a spoof of a different horror movie. Like,
Literally,
it's literally perfect for what they do. I'm like, how has that not happened yet?
they could honestly make it a movie about shooting a movie about people dying.
Exactly. And it's just, it's like you're taking, we're literally Frankensteining horror movies, which is what they do. You got Scream 2 and you got Final Destination. Yes, Ben.
Okay, maybe maybe we need to do a series watch of all the scary movies again.
God. I can tell so funny about that. I can tell you the first time I saw a Scary Movie.
Okay, then we'll save it.
So I will save it. I have a
Was
it's
that
very much not the first time you should see Scary Movie. I'll tell you that.
should would you be down?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think
Oh,
that'd be super fun.
we got to get Cyan on that.
Oh
Absolutely
yeah,
punish him.
I'm down. Punish him. He was there the first time we watched Scary Movie 2
Perfect.
as well, so that'll work out. Um, but, I will say for Final Destination 3, I did enjoy the, camera picture element of it. I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought having that and then also there was a death in there that I felt was I don't know why it made me wince as much as it did, but it was the sequence in, the warehouse, and, this guy's girlfriend gets hit in the head multiple times with a nail gun, and I don't know what it was specifically about that death that got me, but it really did. I think it's because it was so sudden and so brutal because they put, like, 10 nails in this girl's head.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was insane, and I was like, "Oh my god," like and I don't know, it was interesting.
Oh, important topic we have not talked about. Tony Todd in each of these movies. So Final
Yeah.
Destination 1, we have he plays a character called William Bloodworth. Um he not in all of them though. He's in Final Destination 1, 2, in Final Destination Bloodlines as William Bloodworth. He is in Final Destination 3, but he is the voice of, I think is it a devil thing? I forgot what it is.
It's the final scene in the movie when they take out the final 3 survivors. You know how every time in the movies there's a sequence of where, oh, they think that they broke the sequence and then all of a sudden death comes back around and, like, takes them out. So in the particular sequence of the 3rd one, the final 3, survivors find themselves on a train and, Tony Todd is, like, the conductor essentially and over the speaker and he says, "Next stop into the line," is what he says. That's literally all he says in it.
There's
But
He's also at the beginning of the movie, there's like a demon statue at the theme park, and he's the voice of the demon statue.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah, because that's, like, the big thing. That's, like, the mascot for the ride that they're all on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so yeah, spoiler alert, they all die. They do like a fake out. Like, so I've also noticed that they do it twice where they show the person their death again before they officially die. So they go through the sequence of the train, like, as like a Final Destination thing,
Yeah.
premonition, and then she comes back to while on the train, and then it officially kills the final 3 people.
It's kind of
Um,
funny because nobody actually knew whether her character died or not until Final Destination Bloodlines.
really, I thought I remember her like being like, "Oh yeah, she's dead."
Well, the general consensus is people speculated whether or not she actually died.
Well, because the last sequence they show before she comes back is
Yeah.
a train coming at her. Like she's that train's gonna
Yeah.
hit her. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't get it, but there was like a big consensus from a lot of people who like theorize that she's alive, and it's kind of like, no,
no, she
she
gone.
gone.
I will say that did get me. Like I honestly thought because I think that was yeah, because this is the third one we're on. Because they showed in the second one that the line could be broken, and so I thought that they were gonna. So they actually did get me with that. I was like, oh, they killed the final 3, and it was rough because I honestly I started getting like since I started thinking that people could survive, I was like they're gonna survive, you know?
Yeah.
And so but they didn't. They actually went out very horrifically, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
And it's the first
uh
movie to not have any to not be directly related to the first one. It mentions it, like it
yeah,
refers to it, but not
yeah,
yeah. That's what I
yeah.
meant to
It's,
say.
but it's I'm trying to think, why am I blanking on stuff? Yeah, it's a movie, I think is the best way to put it. I mean, it kinda added a new element to it with the pictures, but it kind of became very, stale, the best way to put it maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
You started it's like, "Okay, like, we get it now," you know? So,
Yeah.
because of that, I do have to put it last in the line right now. It is 2, 1, and 3 right now, so
With that, I'm looking something up here real quick. So they did this weird thing that we're gonna kind of see a trend for. So Final Destinations 1 and 3 were shot by one director, and then Final Destinations 2 and 4 were shot by the same director.
really, I didn't know that.
And did you have any other comments about Final Destination 3?
Mm, not really, no.
Okay, then let's jump into Final Destination 4, which has 3 freaking names. So, um
Does it really?
so obviously, as we've been referring to it, Final Destination 4, which is not the actual title, it's called The Final Destination, which is kind of stupid considering there's 2 more that come out after this. And
Surprise, surprise.
and its other not official name, but like the other name that it went by was Final Destination 3D, which makes sense that they didn't call it that, considering they kind of
Yeah,
missed the
we had the
mark.
confusion. We had the confusion with that.
Y-
Um,
Alright.
alright. So now we are in the last half of the film franchise. So Final Destination 3, 4, 3D, The Final Destination,
Where
as we just covered.
really drop off.
Yeah, this one was unfortunate. I say unfortunate, but again, it's sort of that vibe of you know what you're getting.
Yeah, it was produced by the same people that produced Saw 3D, so they have a very similar feel, and they are both absolute fucking dog water garbage that should have stayed in the bong whenever you threw it away. I just said
That
that.
was crazy. That was a crazy review right there. And
Ireland, if you're
cut.
still
Nothing else
here,
nothing
if you're
needs to be said.
still here, you can just skip to the last minute.
Dude, yeah, I mean, I think the problem again, this movie suffers from dateness,
Mm.
being dated, and, honestly, I'm trying to think. There's maybe 1 death in this film that I can recall. Wait, this is the one with it has the
NASCAR.
ending with it starts with the NASCAR and then it ends with the explosion in the movie theater,
Yeah,
right?
I believe.
Well, it was
Yes.
going to be an explosion in the movie theater, he stops that as well, and then the final members end up dying after they get hit by a semi, um, that crashes through this coffee shop that they go to. I remember
Yes.
that now. Yes.
Um The one cool thing that's in this movie, you get Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah, he's
yeah.
the security guard. I liked him. I really wanted him to survive.
Yeah, and you actually his death is interesting because like they show it in the premonition, and then when he actually dies, it's off screen.
Mhm. Yeah. I actually kinda liked his death low key, not
Yeah.
the premonition part, but I always do appreciate a just blink and you miss it kind of
Yeah.
death sometimes,
Yeah, because it was just
and
like
his
that.
was yeah, I mean, he got hit by he got hit by the, ambulance, holy crap, my
Yep.
freaking brain just fried there, um, and But yeah, his death was actually I kind of I kind of liked, um, but also I don't know, like he was my own he was the only character in that movie, which maybe might be one of the issues with it. Um,
Yeah, it's just not a very good movie, honestly. It kinda just feels like half the movie is just them running around searching for people.
yeah, yeah, I'm like there. Yep. Um, I'd say that, I mean there is a death that does stand out with me, and I totally forgot. I'm gonna bounce it back to the third one
Yeah.
because there was the first death in that movie was one of the most horrific ones I saw, and that was they I'm trying to think of how it worked, but they essentially a car got hit by a truck and the engine shot out to the car in front of them, and there was like a engine fan that
Yeah.
just ate up the back of the guy's head.
Yeah.
That was insane. I and then the fact that it was that guy too, like again, it was kind of like a they didn't set it up like your classic Final Destination setup. They just did it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that okay, we're jumping into it." Anyways, going back to the one for Final Destination 4 or the Final Destination, sorry, sue me. Um, the one
Shoot.
that stands out the most was I think it wasn't an engine, it was like a nitro can or something, like smacks into a guy and he goes through a fence. And like you see the cutouts of his body as he goes through it. I think it was
Yeah.
probably the most iconic death in that one, honestly.
Yeah, this
But
does something weird that you really don't see, in any of the others where, one of the people in the premonition who dies in the premonition that's not an actual character in the movie until later on that they don't even know about, he survives.
the cowboy?
Cowboy Man. Yeah.
Wait, he survived?
Well, he doesn't survive the movie, but I mean in the premonition he dies.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Yeah, which I actually thought that was kind of a like a cool little
Yeah.
like thing of like, oh yeah, like it doesn't just affect the other people, like, you know, because that guy didn't move, essentially, he didn't die. And so I thought that was a cool little nod as well,
Yeah,
honestly.
but
Um,
4's definitely just a dated piece of garbage.
mhm.
Um,
I mean, the only way to watch is if you literally go through a marathon to watch all the movies, I think is the only real way you'll find yourself watching it.
and
So,
it's kinda disappointing because a lot of, like, even the death sequence at the beginning of the movie, they shot a lot of that practically, but they threw so much CGI on top of it that it just does not look real.
yeah, it's rough.
Rough dog.
It is rough stuff, as we're gonna
Um,
call it.
since our
Um,
lists are pretty much identical, we'll see if it continues. This one's with our current ranking is at the absolute bottom.
yes, exactly. So we got 2, 1, 3, and 4. So, and sorry, I was just looking it up because I actually thought this movie was more recent than it is. So, Final Destination 5, to me, I felt like Final Destination 5 sort of started modernizing the film franchise. So, this one to me does not feel as dated as the other ones. Like you can tell that this one was made more recent, but the thing with it, which kind of surprised me, is the last one was released in 2009. This one was released in 2011. So to be fair, there's not that much of a difference in it. Um,
This one is all
but
you. I absolutely do not remember a single thing about this movie. I didn't even
okay,
watch a recap for this.
really? Okay, so yeah, we'll go over it real quick. So the start of the movie, the sequence of it is a like a corporate sales company is going on a trip. They're in a bus, and when they're crossing a bridge, the bridge starts to crumble due to you know, stability of it, right? And so, you know, you go through the sequence one by one, blah 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 blah, and then so now we're into the movie, right? And really, the only thing that is unique about it is so it does introduce um a new rule, And that rule is if you take someone's life, you get their life.
Oh.
So if you kill someone, so like let's say I was in the line, right? And Ben wasn't, if I killed him, I would get what is the remainder of his life. So they say. We're gonna figure out that I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Um, so in the sequence, actually, one of the main characters that we follow does survive the death sequence. So you have the main character and his at the time ex-girlfriend. She broke up with him like right before this trip. When the bridge crumbles in his premonition, he grabs her. They get off the they he gets to the edge of the bridge. He gets her across before the bridge crumbles, and she is the only survivor the of the whole thing.
Oh.
And so she is not actually on death's list, right?
Mhm.
And so in the movie, one of the first people that die is um the main character's best friend's girlfriend, if that makes sense.
Oh.
So like you have the main character and then you have his best friend and then the best friend's dating like an intern in the from the company
Yeah.
and she actually dies very horrifically. She was a gymnast and you know they do the whole setup and stuff, but what ends up happening is she's doing like a spin and the pole that she was on like slips and she falls and she snaps her neck and you just watch her body just fold.
Oh,
It was
nice.
actually pretty gruesome to watch. I was like, "Ooh." But, like, the whole time the guy is actually, like for once, you start seeing the characters kinda start getting kinda beating themselves up a little bit more about the deaths. Like, I think in the last like, the first 4, they get very like, "Oh, that person died. Alright, well, we gotta move on." You know, like, they don't even show, like, "Oh my god, I just watched someone die," or, like, even, like, a friend die, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they start really showing like the characters like genuinely grieving over the deaths that are happening. And so and that's actually a pretty decent plot point as the best friend kind of goes through this spiral. And so so we start going through the movie, right? And the friend, the best friend is like he doesn't understand. He's like, why does everyone else survive? Why did why did everyone die? And then like why does she girlfriend, why does she get to survive? Why is she the only one that gets to live? Why does she deserve to live and stuff like that? And so when the um, idea was introduced of like you when you take someone's life, you get their life, he kind of snaps and is like, why does she get to deserve to live? And he essentially tries to take her life to save his own. And that's
Oh.
the final sequence that happens is they're in a restaurant. And you could see it a mile away in the story, like you knew it was gonna come.
Yeah.
But point being, it ends up happening, and but in the end, he ends up dying. Like he ends up getting killed, and the boyfriend lives. And the reason why was because in the final sequence, the best friend ends up killing a cop that was not in the sequence. So he technically ends up taking the cop's life, and then he was like but he still pursued to kill the girlfriend because she witnessed the murder. He's like, "Well, you're a witness to death or to witness to murder, so I'm gonna kill you."
Oh.
But since he ends up killing the boyfriend ends up killing the best friend, he ends up getting the cop's life in the end, right?
Yeah.
So that's how they perceive it to be, right? So I'm gonna back up real quick because this was another plot point that I didn't mention. So the boyfriend, the main character, is a chef on the side,
Ooh
and
la la.
he gets a it's a an internship, right? He gets like he's at he like his work at this really fancy restaurant, and the head chef tells him it's like you should go to our flagship restaurant in Paris and like do like an internship over there, right? And so, but he didn't wanna do it because he didn't wanna leave his girlfriend behind and stuff like that. And then, like, through the whole movie stuff, they do the whole, like, "Oh, life's worth living, you gotta do what you wanna do," right?
Yeah.
So, sequence ends, right? I don't know if you're picking up what happens, but so they're on their way to Paris. Then they're on a plane to
Yeah.
Paris.
No, I
You're p okay, okay,
I know
so if
this
you don't
part.
yeah, so the plot twist of this movie is that it's actually a prequel. It
Mhm.
happens before the first movie. And this is revealed when you see Alex and the other characters get thrown off the plane. And then as they fly up, plane crashes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so that kind of to me kind of cancels out the whole, well, if you kill someone, you get to take their life sort of thing because they ended up dying in the end, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I honestly, I think I picked up on it really quick because I knew I was told that like somehow all the movies tie in together.
Yeah.
And when I heard that he was going to like, it's like, oh, you need to go to Paris. I'm like, first movie they're flying to Paris. This dude's gonna end up on the plane in the end, right?
Yeah.
But if you didn't pick up on it, I think it's a really cool plot twist. I'm like, that's actually pretty cool.
There
I honestly, sorry, go ahead.
there's a reference in I think in the second one where one of the characters is like, "Oh, sorry I was running late. Somebody got hit by a bus while I was on my way over." And it was referring to the girl who got hit by a bus in the first one.
Oh, that's crazy. Interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. So, oh, and also, so Tony Todd was in this one as well.
Yeah.
He was so the only one that he was not in at all was
Trace.
the Final Destination.
Or 4. Yeah, sorry, I can't keep
Yeah,
track.
number 4. So that's the only one he was not in. This one he actually does play relatively prevalent. I think this was like the first time that he was a relatively prevalent figure. Because I even like all the movies together, Tony Todd is literally in only one scene for each respected movie. This one he shows up 2, 3 times, I want to say. So he kind of becomes more of a character, right?
They got their money's worth.
And so but overall, and I think it might be because it might, from what I can tell, they upgraded a little bit. This movie doesn't feel as dated, and in which case, which is what my biggest issue for the last 2 for 3 and 4, my biggest issue is that they got dated. This one does not feel that way, and they kind of did make the ending a little different. And so for me, I think it goes up a little bit. So for me, it goes 2, 1, 5, 3, and 4. That's where we're at right now, in my opinion.
I can't rank it. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I just remember parts.
That's totally valid. That is totally valid. But yeah, and again, everyone on death's list dies.
Yeah.
Everyone. So now, dun, 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 dun,
Drake gets to keep rambling.
I get to keep rambling. Drake gets to do what Drake does best. So we are at Final Destination Bloodlines, the most recent one that has just come out. And the whole concept of this one is that it tells you how it's supposed to explain why everything is happening the way that it is. And I will say one thing that it does not explain the premonitions. It never gets touched on of like why the premonitions are happening and like why the people who are seeing it and stuff like that. Honestly, to be fair, I think that's not really something that does need to be explained outside of just like it's the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those things of like you just have to accept it type of deals. Sometimes you have to get that in a movie. All right. That's what you have to do. Anyways, point being is we start the movie off back in like the 1950s, right? And it's a couple
Oh, can I say
who
something
are
real
going to go for it.
So I go to the theaters like pretty much weekly or bi-weekly, and the entire like trailer campaign, because I saw the trailer for this movie like 5 or 6 times. I thought it was Jennifer Lawrence who was in it.
Really?
Until it actually came out, I'm like, wait a second, that's not
Dude.
Jennifer Lawrence. She kind of
See
looks
that?
like her in the trailer.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
That's really funny, actually.
Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. And I'm gonna get like this one. I think I'm gonna explain a lot more because this is a spoiler review for Ben, and spoiler alert for this as well. I actually really enjoyed this movie overall, so I am excited to talk about it. So, anyways, it's a couple, and the girlfriend is blindfolded, and the boyfriend takes her, unblindfolds her, and they're at this really fancy restaurant that just opened up. They call it, it's like called like the Sky. something or other, but essentially it looks like the Space Needle, like really tall and thin, and then there's like a restaurant really high up, right? And so the sequence starts because of this little kid, little shit, who is like, think of him as like spoiled rich lad, right? And parents are rich. He feels like he can do whatever he wants. He steals these coins from a fountain from the front, and then he finds himself at the top of this restaurant, and he's throwing coins down, right? And so the sequence starts by him. He throws a penny. Um, it gets sucked into the air vents, and this results in this whole thing crashing down. And we're talking hundreds of people die in this sequence. It ends when the last two is the girl who has the premonition and this little boy that is there. There's a mom that's like a singer, like a jazz singer for the restaurant, and she brings her son in to like because she has he has to be watched, right?
Yeah.
And when the sequence starts, she puts him in this like box, and towards the end, like when she just thinks that she's the only one alive, she sees this boy who is alive in this box after he watched his mother get incinerated. Like she burns like just to death. It is insane. So she tries to save this boy, but unfortunately to no avail. Um, she ends up dying, she falls, gets impaled, and then the boy is assumed to have died off screen, essentially. But so she has the premonition, right?
Yeah.
The difference with this one compared to all of the other ones is that she successfully completely prevents the disaster from happening. So it's not just a handful of people that survive, but we're talking hundreds of everyone survived, right? And so all of a sudden we start getting and so we see the sequence because who we find out later is the granddaughter to that girl is having this dream, is having this as a dream. So she is a college student in the modern time, but she keeps having this dream of this girl named Iris, is what she says. Like, I'm having this dream and I'm this girl named Iris and all this happens and blah, 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 blah. And I need to figure out it's like this nightmare is ruining my life. Like I've been having this nightmare for 2 months straight. I'm failing out of college because of it, and I can't get any sleep. This and that. So she goes back home to try and figure out what's going on. She immediately puts together like this has to do something with my grandma because they share a name. So quickly, like you find out like the grandma is sort of exiled from the family essentially because she became mentally unstable because she was afraid that her and her family were going to die.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she noticed the pattern. Like the pattern ends up happening for the hundreds of people that have survived, right? And so she started noticing it, became paranoid, and like sort of um like isolated her kids. But once it got so bad that the child services ended up taking the kids away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then they try to have normal lives, right? Um, so they're like, "You don't go see the grandma, don't go see the grandma, blah 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 blah." Like that's not going to do anything. But she ends up getting the information that she needs, and she finds the grandma. She is deep in the woods in this like huge fortress, right?
Laurie Strode Fortress.
Exactly. Oh, huge Laurie Strode coded, absolutely. And so the granddaughter meets the grandma, and this is probably the first person that the grandma has seen in decades since her kids were taken away from her. And she explains everything to this girl. She's like, I saved everyone, but then all of a sudden everyone started dying. And the thing that she mentioned was people within the bloodlines of the families are dying. So because it explains it like this, there are all these people who survived this this experience, like this whole thing. And so they went on because it took death decades to correct the line. They all started having families that should not have existed. So those families started killing off the families as well because they had kids that weren't supposed to exist. So that retcons the rule that we saw in the second one, right? Because they were like life will triumph over death, right? Well, that's not the case. Death is just going to take the life because it wasn't supposed to exist in the first place. That's what this is kind of explaining. So she was pretty much stating that like once I die, the grandma, she's like, once I die, it's going to start taking you guys out.
Wait a
And
second. So what you're saying is death is like airlines and is still operating on systems from the 1950s.
pretty much, yeah.
Sorry, I just want to
That's,
throw that in.
that's actually really funny. Oh my god. That was good. That was good. Bravo. So and this is essentially, I guess you could think of it as a way of like, so all these all these accidents that are happening, I assume is supposed to be all these accidents that happen is death correcting the initial saving. So everyone that we saw die, um, someone in those accidents were a descendant of the one back in the 50s.
Death playing
So that
cleanup.
kind of death is playing cleanup. Yep, exactly. And so the granddaughter is like freaking out. She's like, I don't believe you. And this grandma has like this giant book of like all of her research. She's like, this is my life's work. You need to take it. This will save you. Yes, Ben.
I just figured out why death only cleaned up one time. After it killed the guy in the bathroom, it's like, damn, this is, if I keep doing it this way and I keep cleaning up after myself, it's gonna take forever.
He's just like, we're just gonna speed run this real quick.
So in 2000, Death's like, okay, bitch, I am done playing cleanup after I commit these skills.
That's actually really funny.
And then you see how quickly all these people start dying.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Oh, that's so funny. No, I love that. Um, my God. So, um, the granddaughter runs out, and then the grandma was like, in her mind, she knew she was like, if I step out of this house, like death is gonna get me. She's like, I proof this house so much that like death won't get me inside, but if I step out, it's gonna happen. And so she braves her her fears and she steps out and she gives the granddaughter the book. And she's like, if you don't believe me, then just watch. And the granddaughter was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, seeing is believing. And then, of course, we get the sequence, and the grandma ends up dying. First time she steps out of that house in decades by taking one of those wind things. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
On the top of a house, it goes right through her mouth, right in front of the right in front of the granddaughter. Absolutely traumatizes her. But of course, after seeing that, the granddaughter is completely on board with this. She goes deeper into the grandmother's research and tries to explain to her family that they're all going to start slowly dying. Right. And so the cast that we have is the sequence that we have. So the grandma had two kids, right? She had a son and she had a daughter. The son went on to get married and he had three kids, right? The daughter went on to get married and have two kids. The two kids, the daughter we follow is a descendant of the grandma's daughter, right? Which in this movie, the granddaughter, the mom is also not involved. Like the mom ran off, right?
Yeah.
And she's not in these people's lives, but she's essentially explaining all this, and she's like, uncle, I forgot what his name is, but essentially the uncle was going to die first, and everyone's like, this is crazy, blah 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 blah. Newsflash, he does. By taking a lawnmower to the head. I'm not going to go through the whole
that one was
set up
in the trailer. Like the whole trailer was just that.
Yep. And so he takes the he takes it to the head, and oh, actually this is what happens. So that ends up happening, right? So he ends up dying. After that is when she explains the line, right? So she was like, he died first because he was the firstborn, and then he starts telling his cousins, she's like, you're gonna die, then you're gonna die, then you're gonna die, right? And everyone's like, how dare you, like, in this time of grief in this family, turn it into this? You're turning into the grandma, like you're fucking crazy, right? And so there's the son, the first son of the dad, right? We start following him. He's Mr. Cool, tattoos, piercings, like that's the kind of guy he is.
Eric.
They show him in Eric, yep, which he is my favorite character in this one. So we start following him because he is the firstborn son, right? And we see he's in the tattoo parlor. He doing a piercing for this girl. After he's done, he's supposed to clean up and he's all pissed and stuff. And this is one thing that I like about him is he's grieving hard for his dad. Him and his dad were actually really close. When you see characters like that with the tattoos and the piercings and stuff, they're always, um, you know,
Badass.
missing dad, like, um, coded, like, hate my dad sort of vibes. But him and his dad had a good relationship. I thought he had a good personality, and he's going through and he's giving himself a tattoo on his arm, right? And as he's doing this, death sequence starts working up, right?
Mhm.
And essentially where we end up is, there's these chains that are decorating the, tattoo parlor, and it gets clipped on his nose ring. And so the fan is moving and is, like, tightening up the chain, so he's slowly going up, and as he's going up, a bunch of alcohol fell on the ground, like, out wiping alcohol for cleaning and stuff fell on the ground. Something happens and a fire starts, right? So he's up in the air when the pit of fire is below him, right?
Mhm.
Finally, he gets off his nose ring and he falls, and the whole building is in flames and you hear him screaming, right? And then we get to the next day. The main character is like, "Where's Eric? Where's Eric? We don't know where he is." And they hear that the tattoo parlor he was in burns down. It sets it up that he is dead, right? This is the first big death. As they go over there, guess who they run into?
Eric.
They run into Eric. Yup. And he's like, "I'm not dead, but I got this really cool branding." And he shows him the tattoo, and next to it is a heart branded by his dad, where it says dad. And so she's like, "I thought you were dead." And so they're going through this, they're walking, and he keeps like tempting death. He's like, "Oh, like she keeps telling him to watch out. Like they walk past a tree with like a tree clipper thing, and she's like, "Watch out!" And he's like, "What's gonna happen?" And she's like, "I don't know. It could fall." And then they're going by these kids who are playing soccer, and they're like, she's like, "Watch out!" And he's like, "What? The kids playing soccer?" She's like, "How are they gonna kill me?" And she's like, "I don't know. Maybe they could kick the ball and it hits you in the head and you fall and die." And he's like, "I'm gonna take a soccer ball to the head." And so as they're going through this sequence, they're near Eric's house, where his family house, and the his sister, who's technically the second one in the line, comes out, and she's like telling the main character like, "Oh, you're crazy, whatever, whatnot." And so we're focused on Eric and the main girl and all that as they're going back and forth. And you see the sister going in the background, like going on a jog. And as she is, you see she gets a soccer ball to the head, falls into a trash can while a trash truck was there, lifts her up and throws her in the back
Oh my
of the
god.
trash truck. Like it was actually pretty funny. And so they all see it, and so they're trying to prevent her from dying. Like they're trying to save her, they're trying to stop the trash truck, this and that. She inevitably ends up getting crushed in the back. And so the family gets together. Obviously, there's another death, and they're like, "You got the order wrong. You got the order wrong." And then the mom of Eric and the girl who just died, the sister who just died, goes, "You didn't get the order wrong because Eric is not Howard's son, which is the uncle that died in the beginning." So she explains that Eric is not in Howard's bloodline. So really, the daughter was the first one to die. And so now everyone starts believing that this has happened, right?
Mhm.
And so now they're trying to figure out how to stop it. And so they're looking in the grandma's book, and there's a phrase in it that says JB found someone who survived, right? And so they end up tracking it down, and I think you already know who it is.
Mhm.
Who's her friend is Tony Todd. And so they find him as a coroner in the hospital. This is unfortunately also Tony Todd's final scene he has ever filmed. Um, and it's very bittersweet. You could tell that he knew.
Mhm.
And so
Everybody knew.
everyone knew. He was looking rough, to be honest, but explained he explained the rule of if you take someone's life, you get it sort of thing. And he also explained that the person who survived was someone who flatlined and was, which is what happened in the second one.
Mhm.
And so after that, when he found out that the grandma died, he decided to retire. He's like, "I'm retiring." And it's also revealed that Tony Todd was the boy from the beginning of the premonition. He was the little boy that the grandma saved in the end. So she was he they were like, "So when she was trying to stay alive, she wasn't protecting us, she was protecting you as well." He's like, "Yep." He's like, "So now I'm retiring and and the final lines that he said was, they're like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "To live what life I have left." And then he walks off.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing that was ever said by Tony Todd on screen.
Yeah.
And it is also, I saw that that was an ad-libbed moment
Mhm.
for Tony Todd. That was not scripted. They,
Had him speak
the
to the
directors
audience.
yep, the directors had Tony Todd speak to the audience, and that's what he said. And it was when I heard that line, I definitely was like, you could not to be like cheesy and like, sappy and stuff, but it felt um deep.
Yeah.
Like you felt something when he said it. And I really thought that it was just because obviously we know that he passed after. But given all the context of like he said it, he knew this was gonna be his last film, he knew he was dying soon. Like it it was intense, honestly, but it was like bittersweet, you know?
Yeah. One thing I'd like to say about Tony Todd real quick is anyone who's kind of watched us or our videos like the past like since we started reviewing movies, um we had done like a review on Candyman. We really hadn't seen too much of Tony Todd, but um I know we weren't the biggest fans of Candyman, but the amount that I've seen him in just the last few years, like I sent you a text earlier today. It's like he was in the new Indiana Jones video game that came out, and just over the last few years, just seeing him has really made me come to appreciate him, and I'm happy that I could at least appreciate him before he passed.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you that I actually got to meet him?
No, you did not.
So me and Alexia would go to a horror convention called Silver Scream Con, which is a convention put on by the band called Ice Nine Kills. They do it in Massachusetts. We went to their second convention 2 years ago, and Tony Todd was one of their celebrity guests. So we got to see him. I unfortunately I did not spend money to get a photo with him. Alexia did. She went over, got a photo with him, got to speak with him one on one. I let them have their moment. She at the time I also like I was like, oh, Candyman, things like that. But I didn't appreciate him as much as I probably could have. So I just
Mhm,
was like, she appreciates him. I'm gonna let them have their moment.
mhm,
So she had a one on one interaction with him. I got to hear him talk on a panel, and he actually talked about I think this was around the time that they recently announced Final Destination 6 was coming out.
mhm.
Like, I don't wanna say that he announced it at the convention because I can't remember, but I do remember, like, one of the first times actively knowing that it was happening was when he talked about it on the panel.
Mhm.
But he was a very, very kind man. A very, like he was very grandpa,
Yeah.
you know? And even at that time, he wasn't as sick as he obviously was when they filmed Final Destination, but
Mhm.
he knew things were happening.
Yeah.
And I do believe I remember him talking about how he was book as well, like an autobiography, and he was doing all these things and he was felt like he was definitely wrapping things up,
Yeah.
even at that time. But I kind of wish, obviously I feel like I was able to appreciate him more. This was the second time that I had an opportunity to interact with a celebrity before they passed and absolutely biffed it. Me and Stone and Chase Main went to a convention in Cincinnati back in high school, and Carrie Fisher was there. And we did not go see her because her line was too long. I actually feel really bad because I imagine that Chase really wanted to because he was a big Star Wars person, but she passed probably 2 years after that happened as well. So, but yeah, I mean, rest in peace, man. He was obviously he was a good man, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, no longer are we going to be sappy. We're going to continue on with the review of the movie.
We got our campaign
So
title.
yes, exactly. So now we're on to um what they are planning on doing. So they finally find out that you can flatline. And so the best thing that they plan on doing, so in this sequence, right, that we're here, we have the main character, her brother, her mom, and then her two cousins who are still alive, right?
Mhm.
And so the older brother disappears with the younger brother. And they're like, what are we gonna do? And in the movie, it is hinted at that the younger brother, the younger cousin, has a severe peanut allergy. So the older brother comes up with this idea of you're going to have to go into anaphylactic shock. You're gonna have to die. We're in a hospital. Once you flatline, I'm gonna take you into the ER and they're gonna revive you. That's their plan. So they go to a before they do that though, this is really funny. They're standing there and they're talking and they look over and they're sitting next to the newborn ward, the baby ward, and they remember the take a life, get their life sort of thing, and they're looking at the babies and they look back at each other and they're like, "No, we can't do it." They're like, "Can we?" We're like, "No." So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So they end up he ends up getting a Reese's peanut butter cup and he takes a bite and he goes into anaphylactic and he's like freaking out. And before this happens, they set up what is inevitably going to happen. So they are in an MRI room and
Oh god.
I think you see where this is going. So before this whole sequence starts, this MRI machine starts up without anyone really realizing it. So um he takes the peanut butter, he goes to anaphylactic, but he starts panicking and he's like trying to get the EpiPen from his brother, right? And as this is happening, this MRI machine is like really right. And if you know anything about MRI machines, if you go into one, you have to remove anything that is considered magnetic, right?
Mhm.
And so obviously that they did not do that because they did not think that this thing was on. But this thing goes into hyper magnetic field, right? Super crazy and, like, to the point where things from 2 rooms away are being pulled in, and so with that, they started noticing it because the older brother, who is completely pierced, is having his piercings ripped out of him. So, like, you see, like, his earrings get ripped out, his nose ring gets ripped out, um, they show that he has nipple piercings, and
I
so
remember
those get
this.
pulled out, and I remember thinking, I'm like, "Well, at least he doesn't have a dick piercing."
And then
Guess what?
he
And then
has one.
his dick piercing gets ripped out, and then he gets pulled into the machine. So the younger brother was on a, wheelchair. The wheelchair hits the older brother and, like, smashes him into the machine, and he, like, folds, like, into it, right?
Mhm.
And it was unfortunate. I did not think he was gonna die like that. If I was like honestly, I didn't think he was gonna die at all. After I heard that he wasn't in the bloodline, I was like, "My man is going to survive." And guess what? He didn't. Um, the younger brother ends up getting an EpiPen, gets his EpiPen from his brother's dead body, and then what ends up happening is those, like, springs that are in, uh, vending machines?
Mhm.
The spring from the vending machine across the way gets ripped out of the vending machine and goes through his head.
Oh
Gets pulled out
gosh.
and throws and you see it as it turns in his head, like, goes through like, spins out the back of his head. So,
Oof.
now we're down to the final 3. Yep. It was rough, and so they're like, "How do we survive this?" And the mom of the 2 kids was like, "We need to go back to grandma's, um, cabin. She survived decades in there." She's like, "If I isolate myself in there, um, you 2 will survive." And they're like, "But no, we just got you back." And she's like, "Well, you guys lived most of your life without me. It's the least I could do." Things like that. So, the kids end up agreeing to it. They take the mom to the cabin, and, again, we start getting the sequences. So the way it's supposed to be set up is you have the mom is going to die, then our main character, and then her son, right? And so they go in, um, a lot happens. I can't even remember, but we get the whole sequence set up. The whole cabin explodes. The mom, they drove in an RV. The RV falls over. Our main character's stuck in it because the seatbelt she had was broken, and the bus falls into a lake, and it's filling up with water. So she's drowning. The mom is trying to figure out how to save him, and she's like, "As long as I stay alive, you two will be fine, right?" And then a wind turbine falls on the mom and kills
Oh
her.
my god.
Yep. So now we are at the final two, and the and now we're gonna see like the our main character, the sister, is going to die, right?
Yeah.
She's drowning. She blacks out. She comes back to. Her brother ends up saving her, right?
Mhm.
She, everything goes black. She wakes up. He resuscitates her. They broke they broke death's pattern, right?
Yeah.
So now we're in to the final sequence, the final scene of the movie. And the brother is going to prom with this girl, right? And they're talking about everything that happened and stuff like that. And they're talking about like, oh yeah, like she was dead and he brought her back to life. And the dad to the girl that he was taking to prom was like, yeah, yeah, and they're like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, well, she didn't really die, and she's like, he goes into this thing of like, would she have, did she, die? She went unconscious, yes, but her heartbeat did not stop. Like, you couldn't revive someone like that with what he had. So they realize, oh, the the line was not broken. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
Log
this
cart?
huge fucking train gets derailed and is like running through this neighborhood that they're in, and the two of them are running, right? And they're done, like they are running away from this train because they're about to get smacked by it. Um, they outrun it, but guess what? This fucking train was carrying.
It's got logs.
It got logs,
I've
and they
seen that death.
both get smashed, and that's the end.
Yeah, I knew that death happened because Teo Briones, who played Charlie, he is in the Chucky series he plays Devon Sawa's son. So,
That's actually really funny.
little bit of little bit of bloodlines between Final Destination and Child's Play and Chucky.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Jeez. But,
Cut to black.
yeah, yeah, cut to black. I really hope that I did that justice, um, because I really did enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
I think it had its own unique, character to it. I liked that it added more to the overarching story as much as a story that Final Destination can have. Um, I thought the characters were really fun as well. Overall, I thought it was a really good watch. If you haven't seen it and you're still interested after I literally laid everything out, I recommend watching it. I would still recommend Ben to watch it, honestly.
It's on the
I thought
list.
it is a decent movie, honestly. And with that, it actually takes number 3 for me.
That makes
It's
sense.
gotta be my it's gotta be my 3rd favorite one. I know when it comes to movies like this where you get so deep into the catalog where they do like a reboot, revival, sequel sort of sequence, those can be very hit or miss. Um, I think this one did it very well for what Final Destination is. So my final layout has gotta be 2, 1, 6, 5, 3, 4. There we go.
Good
And
chow.
there you go. That's Final Destination movies. Um, oh my god, I totally forgot to talk about my most insane kill. I'm realizing that a lot of the most outrageous kills come from the 3rd one. I'm really
The
starting
crazy
like, the
ones.
more I think about it, and the one I'm referring to is, the pool sequence. where this guy, and I didn't realize this. I was After I watched it, I was like, "There's no way this has happened." But his death was based on a real event that happened, which is insane to me because this is easily the most insane kill I've seen. And it was to the fact that, like, a suction, like, whenever you drain a pool, like, the water is usually getting sucked out of it, and so the water suction sequence was inserted on this pool, and the drain top came off.
That's
Wait, this
four.
is on the 4th
That's
one?
in fourth. Yeah,
Is that so this is
the
real?
final.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the Final Destination.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. You're right. Um, and so he ends up getting sucked onto the bottom of the pool. He can't get out and inevitably gets his intestines ripped out from the sequence. And I sat there, I was like, this is the most ridiculous death they have ever done. There's no way anyone would ever die from this. And then my girlfriend's mom says, like, do you know this is based off of a real event that happened? I'm like, what? And she's like, "Yeah, like, a daughter to a politician had this instance happen to her, and, after it happened, some legislation passed to prevent stuff like this from happening." I didn't do too much research on it. I did look it up, and I did see something like this did actually happen, which I thought was insane because, like I said, like, out of all the deaths that have happened, I thought that was one of the most ridiculous.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that one definitely sticks with me as well. I always
yeah,
have had a fear of pool drains.
really,
Yeah. I've heard stories of, like, people, like, their feet getting stuck. Like, I think that happened to my mom at one point. Like,
really
yeah, where her foot got, like, stuck on the vent of the pool and it sucks you.
interesting. I personally never would have thought of that. Like I said, I thought that was it's like there's no way a drain needs to be that strong where it could literally hold a human underwater, let alone hold her intestines out. But lo and behold,
But yeah, that was Final Destination, the series.
yeah. Do you have anything you want to yap about it? Because I went on for
Uh,
so long.
no, I mean, I think people should definitely, if you're gonna watch any, you don't necessarily have to watch them all if you're just looking for a fun time. I definitely watch 1 and 2. I've heard great things about 6, like, even before Drake. I've heard 6 is a fun watch. So 1, 2, 6, if you're feeling like a fun like, not really fun, but if you're looking for some mid-2000s deaths, I'd watch 3 if you're like roller coasters. Um don't watch 4 at all. You can just avoid that one like the plague.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, there you go. I don't really know if we have anything else to talk about. I think it's probably a good time to end it. I mean, we yapped a lot before we even talked about the
It's
movie, so
it's yeah, it's been 2 hours
that is insane.
of clip.
That is crazy.
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for what you guys think we should watch, um, leave it in the comments, send us a message on socials, leave us a comment on social. I know nobody's probably listening to this. We're gonna upload it and hope for the best, but
You know, maybe at some point we'll get a flow going and then,
people come back.
yeah, they'll come back and unfortunately they gotta sit through 2 hours of I think mainly me talking, honestly.
That's okay though. At least it's
It'd be like
constant talk. It's not a bunch of quiet parts, but
that's true.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording here, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their whatever time it is.
And yeah, we will, hopefully see you next time.
Perfect. Capiche.